Now, a video or so back, you would have seen that I moved these tool chests up into the shed, so they were down with the dingoes. So now what I want to do is actually have a look. I haven't looked inside these for probably a couple of years. So let's have a little peek at what's in there. Oh yeah, picked the right key, 50-50 chance, that's all right. Hang on, got a latch back here as well. Oh, okay, we've got some tools. I'm not going to go into it too much right now. Oh yeah, that doesn't look too bad. Got some pliers and some circlip pliers. A few different odds and sods there, so that's good. And I do have some wheels for that little car that's sitting over there. So that's interesting. So it looks like I have to keep these locked just to keep the doors from opening up. Oh yeah, the old torch. Don't know how safe that would be these days, but anyway. Never used one of those before. Oh, here we go. Some little grinder set. Looks like for an air compressor. Don't know what's meant to be in that one. And that's also empty. That's interesting. What have I got in here? So like a air-driven staple gun. That'd be really good if it was battery powered just quietly. And I've got some respirator pack. So that's one thing that my dad was pretty big on actually, the old fella, was his respiratory state. He did work in a period of asbestos. Yeah, look at that. It's a tidy little old mini hoe, isn't it? That'll go good in the garden. Now, oh, hang about. I have a brand new, you can see that, Makita 185mm blade. And another respiratory kit. So actually that'll come in very handy because I actually do use that 185mm cutter of his that I've got. And right here looks like a blower. It's definitely not a gas welder. It's more of like a flame throw on top thing, like a heat source. Actually, I should do that, shouldn't I? Put the camera off to the side, because otherwise my headlamp, which is causing... So that's for soldering, brazing, paint stripping. Pretty keen to get your hand in there for brazing. Or soldering. Brazing, probably not so much. Brazing you could do, but soldering, probably use a soldering iron. But paint stripping I could see. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. Now I think I have gone in this cupboard and there's a box there. Oh, hang about. So up the side, you might be able to see that. I've got a couple of car stands. Now, I have to say I did think that I had them, but I haven't been able to find them, so I'd forgotten that they were in there. Now this box has some mini parts in it. Now if I was a mechanic, I'd probably know what to do with those, but I am not. So while I know that they are mini parts because the box actually has mini parts written on it, that's about it. So So this one's now done. Oh, it's got some weight to it. What is in here? I don't want to break this. It's in a box of some sort. It's a drill sharpener. Sorry, the camera was not on the box. Okay. Happy with that. That will come in very, very handy. Because I have quite a few drills. And interestingly enough, like, that's the one thing that my father used to do a lot was keep his tools exceptionally sharp. But in his later years, he did actually let that go. Torsion, tension, wrench. Yeah, just let that go, because I have noticed that a lot of the drill bits that I now have from him, I was sort of expecting them to all be sharp, and look, they just haven't been, which is a bit surprising. Now this is a bit of pipe bender. Now look, and also a pipe cutter. Wow, okay. So I'm really glad that he has actually tied them together. Look, that makes perfect sense. That is something that he would do. Now this is something that I would never buy myself. Just look at it. Like, that would cost hundreds of dollars. It quite literally would. Now, will I use it? There's a good chance down here that I will actually use that. And mostly because I have it. Like, if I didn't have it, then I would probably be working out other ways to get around it. So look what I've got here, like a little spray can. I've got I've got a little oil can as well. I've got two little oil cans. So I've got a little hand one. Yeah, look, this little thing. He had this, look, that. God. I can never remember that not being on his workbench. So that's got to be over 50, 60 years old, easy. And he used to use that to keep oil on for his stones when he was sharpening, ironically, drill bits and chisels and stuff like that. But here's another one with a flexible hose on it. There's a spray gun in there, the little side thing on it. Who doesn't love a hole punch? Like, there's so many times I could have used that and I didn't know it was here. Especially when my jeans are getting a little bit too looser. Tighten my belt up a bit. And some more filter canisters for the gas masks. So you can see that he has a bit of a theme there. There's also a little hacksaw down there as well. A file. He would have used that for sharpening his saws, no doubt. Now there is the mother of all cold chisels. Look at that sucker. Yeah, so clearly he didn't think getting rid of that mushroom on the end would be a smart thing to do, but I will have to do that before I start using it. For those that haven't seen what happens when one of those mushrooms comes off, all I can say is make sure you got eye protection. But ooh, look what we got here. Got some nice little hand planes, like little bevel planes there. Some little nail trimmers. Oh, there you go. The old Toombul sports store. In case you're wondering, that's where I grew up. Paul and Julie, like, isn't it funny, like, today's sports stores are huge, sort of like big box type companies, but that little sports store sold everything that you really need, and you know the owners by name, and they served you every time I went in there. Like, I reckon I'd left home 10 years, I went back into that store and he still knew who I was, because I'd probably spent a lot of time in there as a kid, buying weird, wonderful things. But look at these pieces of beauty. The old Stanley. That's poetry, isn't it? Like, that is just beautiful. Again, things that I would just never buy myself. But now that I've got them, definitely be using them. That looks something off a welder with an argon type attachment there. Again, another hand plane. Look at this little thing. Look at that little one. Another little Stanley plane. And I'm thinking I've got a number 3 up the back here. This is the one I remember. Here's a number 4, sorry. How could I get that one wrong? But look, he had that forever. That was the one he took to work every day. Oh, look out, some of the stuff's in here as well. Like, it's his old string line off the job. That's a big router. Awesome tap and die set there. Now, I reckon this box here is going to be a sharpening stone and all. Yeah, thought it would be. He used to have these beautiful boxes that these sharpening stones would stay in. And what else have we got in here? Bits of paper rolled up. And I think they're going to be rolled up because they've got a big sharp on them. Yeah, they do actually, like little chisels. So how good's that? Got some, look, that's a big set of a shifter there. Some old hammers. Like being a builder, he did have some nice hammers. So I've actually got a couple of his old hammers there, which I was actually pretty keen to get hold of. Just for sentimental reasons, if nothing else really. Because I actually have my own hammers that I use, which probably not, you're probably not going to be surprised that he actually gave me when I turned of age that was big enough to swing a hammer. And here's some old tools, some old paraffin wax. As he said, that sort of stuff fits onto your drawers and sort of stuff, and a little hacksaw, some big old screwdrivers. Now here's this old style screwdriver. Bet you that works. Oh hell yeah, that'll knock you over, won't it? So that is used as a screwdriver to save your hands from going around in circles all the time. Now you don't see those every day anymore, that's for sure. Yeah, so look, I do have these ones to go, but it's getting dark, so the quality of the film will disappear, but there you go, there's some cool stuff. I'm really glad that I've gone through that to know what's in there, because that is some beautiful gear that I'll be able to now put to use. Thanks for watching. So there you go. Look, there's a lot of really nice tools in there, and you know, it's interesting when you go through someone's tools, you can sort of tell a lot about the person, but also you start to appreciate how long it takes to build and accumulate, and the type of tools that you need to do jobs. Like I know he was a professional builder, he's a carpenter, so he did all of that work a lot of times himself, so he had those tools for his trade. But these aren't things that just get built up over 12 months. Like I know sometimes on YouTube you'll see people that go out and buy, you know, a few $1,000s worth of tools, and they'll do unboxing and go through all that sort of thing, and they got some really cool tools, and you know, that is actually a really nice way to go, because you just get it in one big hit and you can start off. But when you start going through tool chests and the old tools, or like I know from my dad, who I've actually inherited those tools from, like a lot of those tools I just wouldn't buy because I don't need to use them that often. But now the fact that I do have them, then I now can actually use them. Things like the hand planes, for example, like those things cost a fortune. You know, the pipe bender, there's so many things in there that are quite expensive tools, high quality tools, really well made tools, and these things are accumulated over time. And I guess I can't emphasize that enough. Like some people go, wow, you got a great shed and you got a lot of really cool tools, but it's taken, you know, probably more than 30 years of my life accumulating what I've got, but also probably, you know, 60, 70 years of my father's life as well, of his tools. Because I think some of those things are probably things that he's had when he was in his 20s, maybe even earlier. So there's a lot of just really old but really good quality stuff that's in those tool chests. So anyway, look, I hope you found that interesting. It's always a little bit of a experiment, isn't it, when you start going through things that you haven't looked at for a long time. And I'd say when we put all the tools in there in the first place, we're just sort of splitting up between my brother and I. between, you know, who got what and how many things that my dad had, because some things he had multiple of. So it's just a great opportunity to go back and have a look at what he actually had in there. So look, if you did like that, enjoyed it, please give us the big thumbs up. And until next time, thanks for watching.